with that, I am done for today. It is currently Friday, and my plan is to film a weekend reading vlog and just film my reading experience this weekend, I guess. I got The City We Became last weekend, and so I've been pretty excited to read that. But I have to admit, this week I have been pretty not reluctant to read and not necessarily in a reading slump. I guess the right terminology might be my thoughts are more preoccupied with other things. I live in Oregon, and I don't know how far spread the news is, but on Tuesday we had some really rough winds. The Santa Ana winds came in about a month early during an incredibly dry spell. And our state is now on fire. And so for the past 2 days, our air quality has been in the 200 to 300s, depending on where you're at. 500,000 people in our state have had to flee fires and risk their homes being destroyed. And it's been crazy. We've never seen anything like this, and these are places that I'm very familiar with. And so I just haven't been excited to read, I guess. I might read Sheets that came in this week, and I heard it's an incredibly cute book. I'm currently in the middle of Hood Feminism, and I think it's a wonderful book. I don't think outside of professional teaching books, I've highlighted so many quotes just because I think they're incredibly important to remember later on. But yeah, we'll see how this goes. So I read Hood Feminism tonight, and I really enjoyed it. I loved how Mikki Kendall just stated her facts, straight to the point, no sympathy, very much realism, and just gave it to the reader. X, Y, and Z, here's what's happening, here's what's being done with it on this side, and here's what's being done with it on this side, and this is the reality. And Kendall was just very knowledgeable, and she had multiple facts across multiple resources and multiple viewpoints. And Kendall is just really pulling from a lot of personal experiences too, which really gave the book a lot of ethos. And I would highly recommend it for people who are very knowledgeable about racial inequality in America, or who are still learning more about racial inequality in America. In saying that, I really need a lighter book right now. So I am still going to pick up The City We Became because I want to read it. I want to pick up Sheets. I was going to save that for October to get more in a spooky mood, but it's probably going to happen this weekend. But that will be my update for tonight. I'm at, 290 for air quality at this point. I think the news said that Portland, San Francisco, and Seattle are like the 3 cities with the worst air quality in the world right now. So West Coast is going pretty strong. Staying inside all weekend, probably. Woo! Alright, so just did a little bit of chores around trying to be active, get out of the house, the usual. This morning I woke up with our air quality around 300 points, units. Yeah, I don't know. It was around 300. I don't know if you can see the smoke outside. I don't think it really shows up. However, today I started The City We Became, and that is a really fun book. I'm about 100 pages into it now, so about, what would that be, a fourth into the book, and it's awesome. I've met the avatars of Manhattan, Brooklyn, Staten Island, the Bronx, and I think the only one we haven't met yet is Queens, and I'm really enjoying it, honestly. It really reminds me why I really like N.K. Jemisin's writing. I've read the 5th Seasons trilogy, and it's a really good series. Highly recommend if you have not picked it up yet. And it made me fall in love with N.K. Jemisin. And I've said this before, I was really excited to pick up this book, and it just started beautifully when the avatar of New York City itself came on and was birthed, I guess. The way she wrote in like a city being born was truly like New York was giving birth. And then the other old cities across the world, she has Sao Paulo as an avatar guiding New York or trying to protect New York, and I love it. Haven't been there, so don't know if Sao Paulo is true to kind of the city's vibe, but Paris kind of looking over and being like, another one. Oh my god. It's just little quirks like that that make you fall in love with these books. And I'm just really excited to see where this book continues and takes off. Getting them all together or making them maybe churn on each other, because I kind of sense that that's where it's going. We'll see. But I needed a book like this kind of as a pick-me-up, and I'll check back with you tonight. Hi, so it is Saturday night and I have officially read 230 pages of The City We Became, and so that's about halfway done with the book, and I have met all 5 of the avatars, including the official city of New York and Sao Paulo. What can I say? I really enjoy the book. I think the idea that the birthing of a city can go south, I guess, for lack of a better term, in this way is really interesting, and having each borough of New York or each neighborhood of New York be a very different personality like it is so true and so unique that it just really exemplifies N.K. Jemisin's writing and how unique it is, and just truly a different experience of reading this book is. And I guess just having an enemy trying to destroy all these cities, trying to destroy these neighborhoods, trying to destroy the heart of New York, even with all these diverse, interesting characters that represent the borough at its heart. It's very intriguing and it just keeps the reader in. Even if you were someone like me who isn't born in New York, who hasn't grown up in New York, who's only read about New York or visited New York briefly, you are surfacely aware of these neighborhoods and you are surfacely aware of these different stereotypes these neighborhoods have, and these people really represent them, but in a way that is almost like a love letter to the city. And it's truly a representation of such a diverse city. And again, only halfway through, Jemisin does a wonderful job of timing and pacing and timing, same thing. But she does a wonderful job of keeping your attention as a reader and trying to introduce you to these characters, even if you don't know the city, and just keeping you invested in this story. I'm gonna turn in for the night, and I'm really excited for what I'm in store for tomorrow when I pick up the book again. Happy Sunday. I am about 340 pages into The City We Became, and I have officially met all the boroughs, including Queens, and they're all together, which is not all together. Most of them are together, which is interesting to see, and it's a really fun dynamic to watch them interact. I have to admit, I absolutely love the way N.K. Jemisin has the conflict in this book. It's very, not decisive, that's not going to be the right word that I'm looking for. It's very gray. I think that's going to be the word I'm using. And I love that it's so gray. And just knowing that it's a very complex conflict, and I'm not saying it because I don't want to ruin the book, because even without finishing it yet, I think it's a highly recommended book from me. But saying that, I think I want to take a break before I finish the last 100 pages, and I have 3 books here that I at least want to start today. And like I've been saying earlier, Sheets is one that I'm really excited to read, and I kind of need a little uplifting right now. And Guts is a book that I just got my hands on and my kids absolutely love. Raina Telgemeier. They love her books. What is it? Drama, Ghost, Sisters, and Smile are the other ones that she's written, plus the Babysitters books. But I want to read it before I suggest it to my kids. And then, of course, I'm on House of Hades in the Heroes of Olympus? Is it Heroes of Olympus series. House of Hades, which is the 4th book. And I we'll see if I start it today. I read a ton of them last week. And I'm kind of like Rick Riordan'd out, even though it's a phenomenal series, don't get me wrong. I'll check back in later and inform you which one I read. So, I ended up finishing both Guts and Sheets today, which was a phenomenal decision on my part. I would have to say Guts, I did just read because I know my kids really enjoy these books, and I can see why. It's a really good middle grade realistic fiction book. Two of the main themes of this book are normalizing anxiety in young kids and overcoming bullying, which for a middle-aged book are some really important themes. Just for a young kid to normalize talking about how feelings can get into a cycle and really mess with your head, and just being able to talk with someone, a therapist, is normal and should be common. It's a good book for kids to read. And I'm really glad this author has picked up on it and told people in the end that this is something she did and it's based on true events when she was this age. So, another great addition to this series. Something I wouldn't personally pick up again, but definitely adding it to my classroom library. Now, Sheets, on the other hand, oh my gosh, this is such a feel-good story, and it's just such a phenomenal graphic novel. I mean, the artwork itself is just gorgeous. And it talks about fears, it talks about depression and grief, normalizing it and then trying to overcome it and talk with others about it. And then just having such a feel-good story. If you haven't picked it up, you should. It's beautiful. It is. Now, saying that, reading 2 graphic novels today, I was still able to finish The City We Became. I had 100 pages left today, and that was a wonderful book as well. It truly was a good reading weekend. I loved how N.K. Jemisin ended the book, setting us up for the rest of the series, however long she decides it will be, whether it's a duology like she's done before or a trilogy like she's done before. But at the base of the series, I think she meant it as a love letter to the city that she lives in, New York. But even saying that, especially as a person who's only been there once for a brief trip years and years ago, I didn't have a problem following it. I mean, New York is a very iconic city in United States social media, in pop culture, so that might have helped me along. However, N.K. Jemisin is able to truly introduce you to the characters and introduce you to the boroughs, the neighborhoods, as people, but also as the setting as New York. And that makes this book really special because not only is she creating the setting, she's also building up the characters at the same time and vice versa. And it was a very interesting read because of it. And I can see really the potential in future books on incorporating other cities and other avatars from these cities to experience, well, me not experience because I'm obviously not traveling to them, but see through N.K. Jemisin's eyes what these cities are made of, are defined as at their base. And I can see where the hype is from. It was a great book. It had a great beginning. You had the quirkiness that N.K. Jemisin's kind of known for, an amazing sci-fi element, and the conflict in it was just so gray that you kind of don't know who to root for at its base, and I love that in a book. Hyped for a good reason, highly recommend it. That is my Sunday night. I need to get to bed to teach tomorrow. Have a wonderful Sunday. I hope everyone's staying safe. I hope everyone's healthy. Bye. Mikki? Mikki? What is it? Mikki?